So I'm going to be telling you about the story of Joseph in the book of Genesis, and the author is Moses, well, kind of God, but he got led by God, Moses did, to write this story. Moses lived to be about 120 years old, and he has many amazing stories in the book of Exodus, so you should really read it. It's amazing. Okay, here is the outline. It's actually like 2 pages, and I wish I had more time to tell you about this story because it's really amazing, but I don't, so here it goes. Joseph was the youngest of 12 brothers. He was called the miracle child and wore a robe of many colors. He started to have dreams that he ruled over everyone. His brothers, his parents, and even the stars would bow. His brothers plotted to sell him because they had so much hatred for him. Indeed, Joseph got sold by his brothers for 20 shillings. And Joseph went to Egypt, where he got bought by a man called Potiphar, who is the second most powerful man of all Egypt. Joseph proved to Potiphar that he was loyal and hardworking, so he put Joseph as his wife's personal slave. But Potiphar's wife had something else in mind, and she tried to get Joseph to lay with him. After Joseph refused and ran out of the building, she screamed and went to Potiphar and said that he tried to lay with her. Potiphar threw Joseph in jail. One night, 2 people in prison had almost the same dream, and Joseph could interpret them by the gift of God. And I will read it to you out of my own Bible. So the chief cupbearer told his dream to Joseph and said to him, "In my dream, there was a vine before me, and on the vine there were 3 branches. As soon as it budded, its blossoms shot forth, and the clusters ripened into grapes. Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup, and placed the cup in Pharaoh's hand. Then Joseph said to him, 'This is its interpretation. The 3 branches are 3 days. In 3 days Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore you to your office, and you shall place Pharaoh's cup in his hand as formerly when you were his cupbearer. Only remember me when it is well with you, and please do me the kindness to mention me to Pharaoh, and so get me out of this house. For I was indeed stolen out of the land of the Hebrews, and here also I have done nothing that they should put me into the pit.' When the chief baker saw that the interpretation was favorable, he said to Joseph, 'I also had a dream. There were 3 cake baskets on my head, and in the uppermost basket there were all sorts of baked food for Pharaoh. But the birds were eating it out of the basket on my head.' And Joseph answered to him, 'This is the interpretation. The 3 baskets are 3 days. In 3 days Pharaoh will lift up your head from you and hang you on a tree, and the birds will eat the flesh off of you.' So indeed, the dreams came true, and the cupbearer didn't remember Joseph. 2 years went by, and Pharaoh was having bad dreams. No one could interpret them. Then the man finally remembered Joseph. Joseph told Pharaoh what the dream meant, and it meant 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. Joseph thought of an idea to save 1/5 of every day's worth of grain. So then you can save it up, and you'll have enough for the 7 years of famine. When the famine came, and people were lined up for food, Joseph saw his brothers. And to mention, after Joseph had that idea, he was made the second most powerful man of all Egypt. He saw his brothers, and the brothers didn't recognize him. He accused them of stealing and had one put in jail. He sent others back home to bring back their so-called youngest brother. Once they arrived with the youngest brother, the brothers proved it to be true. Their father had another child. Joseph saw how much they loved their youngest brother, and they told Joseph the story of how their other brother got attacked by a vicious animal. Joseph showed them who he was, and that he was indeed Joseph. They celebrated and had some brothers go get their father, and they lived happily ever after. And all of Joseph's dreams did come true. So even if you are going through a lot in life and you need to keep your faith, Joseph was hated by his brothers, sold into slavery, put in jail for nothing he even did wrong for 2 years, and he saw his brothers again with full hatred, but everything happened for a reason, and indeed they did bow to him. And it's just, he went through all that stuff, and he didn't understand why God was doing it to him, but in the end, he stuck with God, and everything happens for a reason. So no matter what you're going through, you just need to keep that faith and stay strong. So, that's it. Thanks.